Art Beyond Time.
Paintings of our childhood. Hello and welcome back to Art Beyond Time. This episode, Paintings of our childhood. In this podcast, we will dive into our first connection with art, especially paintings. I'm Irene Hidalgo from Spain. Today I'm with our special guest, Stefano.
Hello, I'm Stefano from Italy.
We are from Aum and Chevos associations in Sighishuara and Saskis. And you will start. What was your art?
Well, if I have to think of my exact first encounter with art, I'm not really sure, because it goes very, very back in time. What I can say is that art really played a role in my life when I was a child. I remember participating to these art workshops that were held in my town every year, and I was always really looking forward to them, and I really liked them. But the thing that I want to talk to you today is another thing, is a project that we did once in my elementary school in collaboration with an important museum in Milan called the Pinacoteca di Brera. I'm from a little town close to Milan. And in this project, basically during the year in class with our teacher, we would talk about 4 different paintings and kind of use them as a prompt, as a pretext to talk about different things. So the paintings that were chosen for this were 4 paintings representing food. And so, for example, one painting was representing a kitchen with a lot of different products and vegetables and different types of meat and all these kind of things. And during the year, we would talk about these products and their origin and their history and their usage, etc. One other painting was really nice. It was depicting a scene of a group of women in a summer afternoon drinking coffee in their beautiful green luxurious garden. And we used that painting as a pretext to talk about coffee, so the history of coffee, the usage of coffee. We made little artworks with coffee. It was really, really nice. And at the end of the year, after all of this discussion about art and about food, we went to the museum in the city of Milan, and we brought our families with us, and we children acted as some sort of tourist guides, showing them around the museum and telling them all the things that we talked about, all the things that we learned. And I remember that I was very proud in that moment of showing my family around and telling them all the things that I knew now about art and about these paintings. I remember that they gave us a little pin called Amici di Brera, which means friends of Brera, like friends of the museums. And I felt like being part of the brotherhood of the friends of Brera, part of some beautiful club. And I still have the pin on my wall in my room in Italy, and I really, really like it. And during this visit, we saw all of the paintings that we talked about, and we also had some time to discover more about the museum. And I remember in particular one painting that really stood out for me. It was a painting by 2 Renaissance Italian artists called Gentile and Giovanni Bellini, and the painting was called Saint Mark Preaching in Alexandria. It was a religious scene of Saint Mark preaching to the crowds in Egypt, in Alexandria. But what really stood out for me was the fact that this painting was so huge, was immense. It was one full wall of the museum occupied by the painting and depicting so many people. At least 100 figures were depicted in the artwork. They had so many different clothes and different hat covers and different hats and different styles. And there was a building behind that was meant to be in Egypt, but was modeled after the Cathedral of Venice. And it was so full of different styles of architecture, so many colors. It was so rich. I really, really liked that painting, and it was an interesting discovery during that trip. And another painting also that was part of the ones that we had discussed about during the year was a painting by another Italian artist called Piero della Francesca. This painting was really interesting. Well, its connection with food was a bit vague, I would say, because there was just one egg hanging down from the ceiling. and we used that as a pretext to talk about eggs and chicken during the year. But apart from that, it was a really interesting painting, and I remember that after that I started digging more into these artists and discovering more of his work. And the next summer, with my dad, we traveled in central Italy into different towns and villages where these artists had lived, and I remember like going on some sort of treasure hunt, trying to find all his paintings, and it was very, very fun. So yeah, it was something small. It was just a little project that used paintings as a pretext to talk about something else. In the end, to talk about coffee, about eggs, about food. But it was something that really stayed with me, and even now, after so many years, when I see those paintings, I still think of them as some sort of part of my biography. Like, I see them as part of me. I see them as connected to me. And it's really cool that art can do, taking paintings that were created centuries ago and that now are in some ways part of what made me who I am today. And so, yeah, I really like it.
Wow. And I have to ask you, which one is your favorite painting of those two?
So of the paintings that we visited, probably I would say that the one of Saint Mark preaching in Alexandria was the favorite of the day, and still one of my favorite paintings today. It's because it's really, really impressive. You enter the room and you see just the painting, and you could really stay there for hours, getting lost in the images and the people and the animals and the buildings behind. It's really amazing.
Very interesting.
And so what about you? What was your art and paintings?
Well, when I was very young, I was 5 years old, trip to see an exhibition of Tamara Wempicka. And it seems I liked it a lot because when I got home, I couldn't stop talking about it. And I ended up going again to the exhibition with my parents, and I didn't remember this story, but my parents told it to me like a few years ago, and I was like, how could I be so obsessed with a painter when I was 5? And so I started to look at her life on the internet and paintings that she painted, and I was like, oh, I remember this. How? And so I started to look in the internet, things about her life. And at first I thought that it was not very interesting, but I was wrong, because although it's true that she was born in a good family, in a wealthy family, she had to move out of her country, now Poland, because of the revolution, and she was born in 1898, but we don't know that for sure because she didn't want people to know her real age, so she changed her birth certificate so anyone could know her real age. And when she began painting to improve her financial situation, she quickly achieved success, which is very weird, especially for a woman at the time. And she became the it girl of the moment and moved in the most exclusive circles with celebrities of the time. And through her art, she broke stereotypes by painting naked women and sensual portraits of both men and women. And not only that, it seems that Tamara was bisexual, which was very scandalous at the time, and she became close to lesbian and bisexual artists at the time, like Violet Trefusis or Colette and Susie Solidor. In fact, she painted a portrait of Susie Solidor, in which she was naked. And her work was on standby for decades, but it managed to come out of the grave again and conquer the hearts of Jack Nicholson, Madonna. Actually, Madonna, shows her work in many music videos like Vogue. And that's all I can tell you about Tamara, but I really encourage you to find information about her life and to see her paintings because they are amazing and I really love them.
Oh, and which one would you say that it's your favorite painting of Tamara Wempicka?
It's hard because I like many, but I would say that my two favorites are Young Lady with Gloves and Tamara in a green Bugatti. So, this was the story of the first time that we discovered art and how art could influence us. So thank you, Stefano, for being here with us tonight.
Thank you for inviting me.
And I hope you had fun.
A lot.
And thank you for listening. Stay tuned for the next episode. Subscribe, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, and see you in the next episode.
Bye bye.